Welcome everybody to Outcomes the Sun podcast and radio show and everything else with my wonderful and best friend, Melissa Yamaguchi, my co-host, and I'm Mariel Hemingway. Such a good show today. We're going to have fun.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited because I've been doing a lot of reading on the methods that people are trying to address for rehabilitation on any level, whether it's physical rehab, whether it's social rehabilitation, whether it's the penal system, whatever it is, whatever's going on in rehabilitation. I've been doing a lot of research on it, and our guest is addressing it right on target. And
yeah, absolutely. And, it's always nice when you hear somebody's personal story too, that they came from, I think the most passionate people in their field are people that have been maybe damaged,
Yeah.
by something, traumatized by something in their lives. And that gives them a clear focus to shift. And in Stacie Shepard's case, who we're going to talk to momentarily, it was really, she wanted to help her kids.
Yeah.
That's what, the message to me was like, I really want to help my kids.
Well, a lot of people will say you need to find your passion, and I don't think that's true. I think you need to figure out what you're good at, and then your passion soon locks in. And if finding out what you're good at is driven by a need, like I want to take care of my children, I want to make sure my health is okay, I want to make sure my marriage is saved, I want to make sure whatever it is. When you lock into something that you care about and that you're good at doing, passion drops in. And she's found her passion evidently based on what she needed to figure out. So she's done it. She's doing amazing work.
Yeah, it's yeah. It's interesting that you say what you're good at, and what makes you smile too, right?
Yeah.
If you're
too short.
If you're good at something, it does make you happy. Like who doesn't love when you're good at something and your shoulders
you stand taller.
You stand taller. You feel good about yourself. So that has to be, that's like the universe saying that's the direction you should be going.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's super cool. I love that. Well, stay with us, everybody, because we really do have a lovely guest next. And you're listening to Outcomes the Sun podcast with Melissa Yamaguchi and Mariel Hemingway. Okay, so we have this amazing guest. Melissa and I are so excited to speak to you, Stacie Shepard. And I would like you to, before we go into why the Good Shepard Foundation is so good, I also want you to explain the play on words, and why you called it the Good Shepard Foundation.
The Good Shepherds are three things, and we're a family, we're a business, and we're a nonprofit. And before I even get into any of that, thank you for having me here today. I'm so excited to be talking to you. I've been a listener, a watcher, a fan, a reader, a yoga enthusiast, right? I told you I learned this the other day. You taught me to take care of myself, and I definitely took that to heart. So it's so wonderful to talk to you both today. So, we are the Good Shepherds. That's our last name, Shepard, and it's spelled like our name. It's not spelled like the occupation or, like the description in the Bible. So we thought we were being clever. It seemed to kind of fall, off the tongue. So we went ahead and went with that name, as we were already the Shepherds, and we started a business, first of all, dog walking and training, and called it the Good Shepherds. So
that's amazing.
Kept it simple.
You really are doing some very, we talk about mental health on this show, that's really what it's about. And I always say it's everything. But
yes.
the therapy dogs, that's no joke. People really get comfort, and they are helped on so many levels with these dogs. And the fact that you train them, and are you rescuing dogs too, or are you raising dogs?
Yeah, so our origins, the origin of our story, and two of my qualities are oversharing and going on too long. So in the in the interest of that, I've been advised by, my children to tighten it up, Mom. Keep it together. So I will just say that, the beginnings of our story, the evolution of what we're now doing with our therapy dogs, it just did start at home. And we did start out in a painful place. And I will just say that this, I could be on a podcast for a whole weekend talking about, painful things and the progression of that kind of stuff. But I'll just say that after 20 years of staying home, raising children, it came to my attention that the alcoholism and the narcissistic emotional abuse that I had been living with and trying to sustain in my household was no longer possible. Things had reached a breaking point. And so I found myself for the first time ever in my life since birth, alone in my home, the only responsible adult with 4 completely broken teenage kids. So that's a whole other thing. Teenagers, right? 4 teenagers.
Yeah.
4 teenagers experiencing trauma. Terrified, no money, not quite sure how to start again. And my oldest daughter, Isabella, she was in college, her first semester of college, and things were so tumultuous that she went ahead and she quit school. And she said, I need to take a break. I don't know how to do all this. I just want something simple. She got a job as a dog walker. So she got a job as a dog walker. She was also working under a mentor trainer, learning how to be a dog trainer and also a dog walker. And she was going to this job every day, walking 3 packs of 8 dogs a piece. So she's walking 24 dogs a day.
Wow.
Sounds like a bad date.
And then she's coming home from that job and she's walking all of our dogs. And I said, honey, there's so many dogs. We love dogs, Lord knows, but it's so many dogs all day long. And she said, Mom, I'm trying not to cry when I tell you ladies this. Again, oversharing is my thing. She said, Mom, when I'm outside and I'm walking these dogs in silence and in the wind and the sun, it's the only time that I feel like it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And we were in therapy, Al-Anon, Alateen, talk therapy, anti-anxiety meds. We were exploring it all, using all the tools, doing it all. But she seemed to be getting better faster than the rest of us. Wow. Well, shoot, let's all do it. So I encouraged her to start her own business. She was working for someone else. I encouraged her to start her own thing, called it the Good Shepherds, right? And I got involved. My 2 sons got involved. It was slow going to start. She only had a couple of paying customers. She was so nervous about it. What if nobody wants me to walk their dogs? What if it doesn't work? Like, well, you're 22 years old and you could get another lousy minimum wage job if it doesn't work out, right?
Right.
So yeah, you're in your 20s. It's not that risky. So so it was kind of slow going at first. COVID hit. So she was walking a couple of paying customers' dogs, all of my friends' dogs for free, and first responders' dogs also for free. Because again, it wasn't about the money and the business; it was about the activity, right? It was about the dog
and the solace she was getting from it.
Yes, and we all got in on the act. Family, friends got in on the act. So it was growing. It was gaining momentum. We were, walking down the middle of the street, don't want to get too close to anybody, waving. It's kind of like a parade. She has a bunch of dogs behind her and, just kind of, just trying to keep it going, just trying to stay happy, trying to find hope. And, it was great. It was helping, it was definitely helping or moving things in the right direction. After a while, we got a call, from a senior living facility, assisted living. And the call was, we're having an event. we have some people, some friends of our living facility, family friends, and people are going to bring their dogs. We don't have enough dogs. We heard you have dogs. Yes, we do have dogs. And how many do you want? So they said, how many do you want to bring? So we decided to do what we've been doing all the time anyways, all day, every day, walking these dogs. We called the families of our very best dogs, our most well-trained dogs at this point, and asked, would you mind if we kept your dog for the day and took them to this, this event to visit these residents? Of course, the families were honored. They were honored to share their dogs with us. And my daughter, again, at this point, she's a trainer, she's a walker. She has a trusted teacher-student relationship with these dogs. So it's safe, it's predictable. So we show up to this senior living facility, and boy, oh boy, again, we're kind of taking it for granted at this point. We're used to it. We're walking a bunch of dogs all day and working together as a family. And when we walk into this space, and it was, unexpected, this single girl, this 22-year-old girl with 8 dogs behind her, walking in unison and behaving and not barking and not roughhousing, moving together as like a singular organism. That is what a pack of dogs is meant to do. And the impact was huge. The positive energy that came into the space, the healing, the happiness, the laughter, it was everywhere, and it just made a huge difference. So everybody learned that day. The staff at the senior living facility, the seniors, the dogs were so sweet with everyone, walking around and commiserating and communicating with the residents the way dogs do, non-verbally, body language, right? The tails, the kisses, the wet noses. The other dogs, the singular dogs who were already there, that were not part of our group, were also impacted positively by the power of the pack, the positive energy that the pack was giving off. And us, again, we were so proud to be there. We learned so much that day. We got healing that day by giving it, kind of paying it forward, giving it back, what we had been tapping into.
So this story is the beginning of when you decided to create the foundation? Is that
Yeah, so we were a business. We showed up to this place, and after that event, we decided this is a movement. This needs to be everywhere we can reach. So we started a 501c and called it, previously we were the Good Shepherds Incorporated, and now we're the Good Shepherds Foundation at this point. So we branched off into this separate entity of 501c. Yeah. And we had this huge success at this one event. So we started to look around for a certifying body that will certify. There were other certifying bodies that will certify therapy dogs, right? But we couldn't find an entity that will certify a bonded pack of dogs for therapy or comfort work. So we looked, Google said that it doesn't exist. So we're going to become a certifying body. We've already gotten a lot of feedback from state and federal officials, encouraging us to continue moving in this direction. In the meantime, our dogs are individually certified as therapy dogs.
Amazing.
But just because you're a cool individual therapy dog doesn't mean that you're going to do well in the pack. Right. Or just because you can't meet all the criteria as a singular dog. When you're in the pack and you get into that pack drive and tap into that pack mentality, we have dogs that are perfect in that setting.
So Stacie, do you now have dogs of your own? Like the foundation has its own dogs?
Yes. So we have our own dogs, the dogs in our family. We have close relationships with our clients. Okay. So we get the dogs. These dogs have homes. What's going to be happening in in the future, what meaning in 2 weeks, is we are going to be partnering with the Eastwood Ranch Foundation, Allison Eastwood,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
who,
Allison's
who
a
I
good-
understand that you know, right, Mariel?
Oh, yeah. She's a good friend. She's amazing. That's awesome.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
So our goal has been to start that work, to take a rescue shelter dog who meets our temperament criteria, establish a relationship with the dog
Nice.
by integrating the dog into the already established pack, into the therapy pack, and also to have them living with us for as long as it takes at our facility. We've just procured an equestrian facility that we will be developing specifically for the foundation to continue and expand this work. So we will be creating therapy and comfort dogs, and at the very least, great dogs that will be adoptable, and set those dogs up for much success.
That's so great. It really is. And just one little sidebar here. Allison used to get her haircut at our salon. So see the little 6 degrees of separation here.
Yeah. She's beautiful and she's incredible. What she's doing with dogs is it's inspiring. She's been great, super generous, very down to earth. And yeah, we're excited to get started with our first Eastwood dog, probably in about 2 weeks.
Will you go beyond dogs? Will you do different animals?
Yes. So yes, and yes, kind of. So we yes. Part of in our research, as we're looking into the different types of therapy encounters, special needs kids, PTSD with veterans, victims of human trafficking, and as we're going out, we're doing all these different things with these different kinds of groups. We're researching and developing these programs in ways that are appropriate to each individual group, right? Smart. So we've had encounters where we're realizing that there's a need for trauma training. So all of our staff's getting trauma trained. Yeah. But to answer your question, that's a huge thing. Trauma-informed care is huge. I'm sure you ladies understand that. But we have been partnering with equestrian therapy, equine therapy facilities.
Yeah, that's huge.
So there is, I didn't realize there wasn't really a therapy, a place where you could get your dog, horse, whatever, qualified, right? So there really isn't.
There is. There are organizations like the AKC has a Canine Good Citizen certificate that you can earn, right, for your dog. And our dogs, many of our dogs have that. Right. Our lead therapy dog, Teddy, he's a Shih Tzu. He's my pride and joy, the wind beneath my wings. He has a very high designation of a therapy dog certification through an organization called Pet Partners. And I just saw on the news or online somewhere that Pet Partners actually has a therapy dog that's working with it, like the U.S. women's gymnastics team.
Super cool.
That's how far reaching. That's who needs therapy dogs in their lives. Who needs dogs and animals in their lives? Animal assisted therapies and interventions. Everybody.
I'm gonna tell you something. I had a girlfriend whose daughter got really sick. I can't remember exactly what it was, but she landed in the hospital and she was young, under 10. And I remember going to see her and I was kind of in the gap between her mom got off work and could get to the hospital. So she said, "Hey, Melissa, would you go over there?" I was close, stopped in. I'm with the little girl. She's nervous. She's trembling a little bit. Mom's driving over. A nurse comes by with a therapy dog. This big, beautiful golden retriever comes in. This little girl calmed all the way down.
Yes.
All she could focus on was loving on this dog that was so well trained. He just put his head on her bed and just let her love on him with his tail wagging. And it completely shifted the mood in a matter of seconds. Yes. And I remember thinking at the time, and I asked the nurse, do you take them also to older people? I mean, I understand why they do it with children because the little kids are scared. Oh, she said, oh, absolutely, every age group. And I said, do you have any resistance? She said, about 10% of the people are afraid of dogs from some past trauma, and they won't let us in the room. because they're afraid of dogs. And we have to
Right.
coax, and we stand outside the room and the dog's really gentle. And then we slowly, she said, but when we can work our way in, about half the time of that 10%, it
Mhm.
shifts the perspective of dogs completely. But
Right.
I mean, I can only imagine that one-on-one episode of a dog in the room when I witnessed it myself. I can imagine what the impact you're making. I can imagine. Whoever was
Absolutely.
trying to sneak around by crawling in the back failed miserably. Go ahead.
You blew it, Faith.
We found hope, but we can't find faith.
Good old Faith. Yeah. She said she might try that. She warned me. So yes, but yes, back to your saying about the individual impact of of the dogs
Yeah.
on an individual or on a group. It cannot be overstated. The impact of it cannot be overstated. The value of it.
Yeah.
And even if it comes down to just, you used to be deathly afraid of dogs, and now maybe you're willing to just let this dog stand in the
I was gonna
doorway.
say
Yes.
you get somebody over some past trauma. That's a huge
Yes.
stepping stone, because that can also, because what trauma does is it bleeds into every aspect of your life, right? You don't know why you do the things you do, but you had this,
Mhm.
I mean, you know that well because you went through the trauma of addiction and all that stuff, and being in a relationship that was not probably as healthy as it could have been, which I understand. I come from that world. So I understand that, and just having an animal there to you're shifting people's lives in such a
Oh, yeah.
profound way. Animals are huge. I mean, I have 3. They're all sleeping now. One's ill behaved. I'm going to call your daughter soon. Or to ask her, what do I do when he's marking the house all the time? Like, what's the deal? Anyway, that's a whole other situation.
that's a
Rescue.
conversation. That's another podcast with, again, my daughter,
Yeah.
the master trainer.
That's
She'll have all kinds of advice for you.
So I have a question for you. Is your foundation purely local, or is this nationwide?
Well, boy, I mean, one can dare to dream. We are community based right now, but I have to say that a couple years ago we had this time frame where one of my sons was going to school in Chicago, and very homesick. He was there for one full school year. He said, "Mom, I'm super distracted. I'm super homesick," and just fresh off this family trauma. Sent him away to school. Go be a man. Stop worrying about me. Couldn't help it. He was worried about me all the time. Worried about his siblings. So he came home for the summer. We got him a dog, and he worked with the dog all summer to get her trained enough to be an emotional support animal that we've all heard of, right? And people are getting them on planes when they're kind of not really emotional support animals. Well, this girl was Indiana is his dog, and so he spent the summer training her. Took her back to school with him. It was a huge help. While he was there, I was flying to visit him, to watch him play lacrosse and to visit with him and check on him. And I was bringing a therapy dog with me on the plane. So I was flying to Chicago and using his dog, Indiana, as well as the dog I was bringing, visiting teen group homes, juvenile detention centers.
Oh, wow.
Senior living facilities. The senior living facilities are great. It's great training for the dogs. The people move slowly. The place is full of wheelchairs and noises and tennis balls on the bottom of the walkers. We have some dogs that love tennis balls. Well, not now, Elvis. It's time to work, and it's not time to take the tennis ball off that poor lady's walker, right? So my point is that yes, we are known in Southern California and in the Midwest at this point, but absolutely, one of our future goals is, again, to work with state and federal legislators for resources. All of our grant writing and our campaigning is centered on developing our facility, but also to changing legislation and even impressing upon the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah.
Can we throw puppies at it instead of pills? Let's try that.
I couldn't agree
I know
with
there's
you.
money. I know there's money for it.
Yep.
Well,
So those are our goals.
You know,
You know?
the good news with what you're saying, because I'm into a lot of holistic healing stuff and all that
Yes.
for mental health and physical health, but that doesn't always fly with everybody. But
Mhm.
animals fly with most everybody.
Yes,
right?
it's a way in, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's like a
it's
gateway.
kind of like, well, I'll give that a try, you know. So,
Mhm.
and
Well,
I'm
there
a big
our
believer.
our Bureau of Prisons Systems has just been toying with the notion of allowing some of the prisoners who pass a psychological test, proving they wouldn't hurt the animal, to if they're on a certain level of a good merits, to have the puppies and the dogs with them in the prison, in their room, their cell, training
Oh
them. And
yes.
they're showing the remarkable shift in the energy of the inmate, and how he or she feels about themselves, how they're relating to their fellow inmates, how they're relating to the reason why they're there, how they're faced when they go before the parole board, if that's an option, how they're displaying their behavior, what they're saying, any accountability they're taking. It's all shifting, and they're relating it to this relationship with the dog. Where they're finding the most impact, though, are the inmates who will never be paroled, and having an animal with them, a dog, more than the cats have shown, the dogs,
Mhm.
showing that gives them a reason to want to continue to live.
Absolutely, yes. And so and that's the other thing, that we can learn so much from animals, of course, but you know, namely from dogs. Obviously, I'm here to talk about dogs, but we can learn so much from them, because dogs are in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And again, in a prison, you know, incarceration situation, thinking about the future, it's not great. Regretting the past, and being frustrated that you made that choice that got you to
Right.
this place. But the dog is here and now, and we're fine right now. Everything's okay. Here I am. Here you are. And right now in this moment, we're good. And dogs
That's
are
exactly
a great
right.
example of that.
Without judgment.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have somebody very close in Bobby and I's life who was incarcerated, and he got out, and I mean, he didn't have his dog. Obviously, he was in jail for 2 years, or prison for 2 years. And coming out, I would say that he had that dog, and he got another dog, and he's very good with dogs. But that, I have to say that those dogs changed his life.
Oh yeah.
Was the focus on having to care for this dog, and it was profound. And he's still so devoted. I mean, it's been years since then, but he's so devoted to his animals. It's very interesting, because there's something that happens. It absorbs a lot of the guilt and the shame, like you were talking about.
For sure. Yes, absolutely. It's you know, every time we go to an encounter, you know, every time we talk to a different group, we just learn so much. And that is our motto: is we listen, we learn, and we lead. So
Mm-hmm.
we're listening to the needs of our community, and you know, just talking to as many different people as we can. And because again, a dog is a conversation starter. You show up with a dog, and all of a sudden you're super attractive and popular, right? That's what the smart boys go, and they get the girls, but you know, they bring a puppy, and puppy's a girl magnet. So we're able to we've been, you know, listening to the needs of our community, and understanding that the mental health crisis in this country is
Huge.
it's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. And you know, so we're listening and we're learning. Like I said, we had that encounter at the senior living facility. Let's do it. Let's start a 501c. You know, we were visiting a teen group home, and you know, they call the teen group home, at-risk teen organization, wanted to call it Pizza with Puppies. So, can you bring the dogs? Absolutely. We brought the dogs, and you know, everyone's having a great time, throwing the ball. Most of the teenagers are engaged. They're happy to see us. You know, they're visiting with each other. There was one girl there who was not engaging with anyone, isolating herself, sitting off in the corner of the yard, very, very downtrodden, no eye contact. We found out later that the staff had really not been able to reach this girl. Who knows what her story was, right?
Right.
I can only imagine. Well, there was a point where the dogs, two of the dogs broke off from the group that was playing ball and having a great time, and even broke away from the pizza, which is really saying something because our dogs, you know, love pizza. It was dinner time. And they moved over towards the girl who was isolating herself. And one of them sat next to her and the other one sat on top of her. And these are big, chunky labs. So
Wow.
one sat next to her, one sat on top of her. And it was a silent moment. It was such a beautiful moment. And I'm going to cry again. Such a crybaby. This girl, her body language changed. She was whispering in the dog's ears. She wouldn't talk to anyone. She's
Wow.
talking to the dogs. Who knows what she whispered to them? Who knows exactly what she needed in that moment? And maybe it was, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. The dogs were kind of laying on her, falling asleep. The dogs knew how to do what we didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't know. We were just there.
That's amazing. I have a question for you. How long does it take for you to train a dog? And how many?
That is a great question. Yeah, that's a great question. And there's a rule of thumb. Again, when you talk to individual therapy dog groups, a lot of times they'll say the dog has to be 2 years old before we'll even start a training program. You hear a lot of different things. It's a largely, as far as we can find, is a very unregulated type of a thing. So with us, and again, the way we've been achieving success and the way this has been growing, and it's just been happening. We've been rising up to meet it, but these things have been happening organically, is that every dog is so different. And some of them will show up and come into our midst and come into our pack just through the walking service. And we have some dogs that we walk Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Those dogs are going to get there faster, getting into pack drive, getting into pack mentality, making friends, not reacting to squirrels, understanding that the human walking in front is the pack leader. That's the alpha. The dogs there's no alpha in amongst the dogs. Those dogs will get to a place faster where we can use them in the therapy pack. Some dogs will never get there. So when you're asking about training, therapy dogs are different than service dogs. Service dogs live a life of service. They're trained to perform a task, right? Diabetes, prediction, and seizures, and all these beautiful, great things. Dogs can do amazing things. The therapy dogs need to do less. They need to just be. So a lot of times the dog has to already have that basic temperament. And the other thing is, you can train a service dog to tolerate and perform. The therapy dog needs to really want to be there. So that was the incident with the young girl at the teen event. Those Elvis and Willie, they made that choice. They went over to her and they wanted to interact with her. They had a positive experience. It wasn't just the pizza. And we always advocate for our dogs, and we make sure that the dogs are not in any one place too long. We make sure they're not getting fatigued. And because we have this teacher-student relationship that's so well established with the dogs, we understand the dog's body language, that not every dog is going to want to engage this way for a certain amount of time in a certain setting. Certain dogs we don't want to take to an outdoor event because it's at a park and there's a pond full of ducks really close by.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bauer's a great dog, but he's going to be, if he sees a duck, he's going to go over there.
Yeah.
From what I understand, with the Good Shepherd Foundation, you are really one of your goals is to build a barn and
Yes.
also to convert a swimming pool you have for hydrotherapy. Can you talk to our audience a little bit about that?
Yeah. So we were fortunate enough in this past year to purchase an equestrian property. It's a residential property. It's zoned for horses. So that's the next iteration of the Good Shepherds Foundation. What we've been doing is we have a show and we've been taking it on the road. But now what we're going to do is we're going to focus on our place, on the facility that's a sanctuary, a place of healing, a place where these different at-risk groups can come to us and interact with the dogs. Like we said, it's a very strong equestrian community We have some partners who have therapy horses that they will be able to bring
Nice.
onto the premises and interact with special needs kids. And we're doing a lot of research and development along those lines, and also learning from equine therapy programs, because we believe and we have seen that the pack of dogs can behave in a lot of ways like the horse. The equine therapy can really mirror what the pack of dogs can do. Not an individual dog, a dog's not a horse, but the pack of dogs, again, moving as an organism, is very similar to the equine therapy that we've seen and then we've been participating in. So, and again, you bring up the pool. It's a little house built in 1947. We could develop it with condos or a fancier house, and that is not what we want to do. We want to develop this property, keep it as natural as possible. If we had a barn right now, we can take 1 to 2, for instance, rescue and foster 1 to 2 Eastwood dogs right now. We could do more if we had more resources. It's costs money, unfortunately. We've been funding it just ourselves with volunteers and just our, kind of scraping things together as we can. That's what we've been doing up to this point.
That's amazing. Explain what do you do with hydrotherapy? What do the dogs do then?
So there are a lot of different things when you talk about hydrotherapy and using a swimming pool for different kinds of interventions and different kinds of healthcare. We have dogs. We have access and partners that have dogs. For instance, a bulldog with hip dysplasia that's limping, maybe is because of his or her immobility, is getting to the end of their life. Well, if we can rehabilitate these dogs in the water, we've seen huge improvements in dogs, and it's added years to their lives. The other concept with hydrotherapy, with using the pool, is for humans. If there's a child or an adult with mobility issues that needs to use the pool to get more mobile, maybe is fearful, the dogs are there. Integrate the dogs into the water therapy.
Yep.
We're open. We're curious. We're into all of it. We love it all.
That's awesome. You're a wealth of information for us. We're like, it's fantastic.
Oh, ladies, you just have no idea. I can keep going and going. What I am is I'm a sponge. I'm a student. I love to learn things. Once you teach me something, I got it. I learned it. I mean, I've been watching you both all these seasons and learning about my skin and all that good stuff that you guys are putting out there. It's such important work that you're doing. I can't even tell you what a surreal moment this is for me. This has been great.
Oh, this is good. Well, it's great for us. Wow.
Yeah, really good. Really good. We have a lot of our audience members are looking for a couple of things, right?
Yes.
They're looking for information, they're looking for resources, but they're also looking for ways to do good in the world themselves. So we want to encourage our audience, if their tax returns so do call it, and their heart does need it, that they get in touch with you and they make a donation to the Good Shepard Foundation. You're doing great work, and we would really look at this. Good Shepard Ambassador. For our audio only audience, you can't see. You have to go to our YouTube channel and look at this latest show with Stacie from the Good Shepherd.
Mariel just walked out. I think she went to get hers.
No, I did. I went.
Oh, look.
I would get my husband, but he's at work.
That's great. Yeah, this is Teddy. He's our keynote speaker at our event.
Oh, hi, baby.
And he has his own business cards. Yeah, this guy, they know him on Southwest. Believe me.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, keep up the good work. We're gonna push your foundation because it's very important and it's so nice, and your story is lovely, and we will have you back, and I'd love to talk to your daughter about training animals.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Our story, like I said, has many layers over many years, and even one of my sons, he taps into many of the doctors you talk about, because he walks dogs barefoot. So he's earthing and he's walking and
So good.
yeah, so there's great things going on.
Because you definitely have listened to our shows because you mentioned talk about.
I won't stalk you.
So grateful, Stacie. Oh, this is so good. Thank you for what you're doing, and please visit us again because we love it. We love it.
Absolutely, yes. And if any of your listeners and watchers want to just follow along and see what we're doing, things are always evolving and changing and growing. And if you want to see me and Allison Eastwood hanging out and talking about dogs, please visit us at www.tgs.foundation and just check us out and see what we're doing and maybe get a little bit of joy. You'll always see a dog when you log on.
Perfect. And we'll have we'll put your link on the site, when people go to listen or watch the podcast, they'll be able to find you.
I appreciate it so much.
Yeah,
Thank you, Stacie.
This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bless you, ladies.
My name is Beth Stewart, and I live in Haley, Idaho. I have a yoga studio called Ida Yoga, and I lead yoga retreats around the world. One coming up in October, Costa Rica, one in May in Sayulita. Would love for you to join me.
And I am Allison Hadley, also from Haley, Idaho. I am a medicine woman who facilitates retreats, works with couples and individuals who are ready to alchemize their healing journey into their personal power through the portals of plant medicine and sacred sexuality. If you are curious about joining Beth and I at an experience, we have a retreat August 2nd through the 4th, where there will be yoga, there will be medicine, and so much more. And if you are a woman who is ready to reclaim her sovereignty, then I'm hosting a retreat called the Queendom, where you activate your most royal priestess self, coming up September 5th through the 8th and October 17th through the 20th. Hope to see you guys there.
And you're listening to Out Comes the Sun with Mariel Hemingway and Melissa Yamaguchi.
Oh my gosh, I adore her. I adore her. I adore her passion for her kids and the dogs and everything. And the fact that, I was so curious about that hydrotherapy.
You know what? You know what's fascinating? She started this, she said, in 2020. In 4 short years, I know for her, it's probably like 4 long years. But really, in the world of business, she's made leaps and bounds.
I mean,
amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The whole time she was talking about her dog, their friends' dogs, her dogs, they're all going to work, right? They're being picked up, they're being picked up to go to their 9 to 5. And I kept getting this image of Triumph the insult dog. Sitting there with this cigar, like, what? You know what? I want to tell you about my day. You want to hear about your day? Who cares about your damn day? Guess what I had to do? So these dogs.
Remember when we had that dog Bindu who lived to 22? He was a little Yorkshire Terrier. It was insane. But we always imagined that he had an Italian accent and he would wear a top hat and smoke a cigar. And in the next life, he'll be like, why did you speak to me that way? Talk to me. I'm not.
Hey, lady, shut up.
Imaginary voices in our heads for our animals. Anyway, that's super fun. Hey, before we go, I just wanted you to touch on this this month of the sheep, just a little bit about the energy.
Yeah. It's fascinating. It started July 7th. It's all the way to August 7th. And the month of the sheep is really, it slows things down from June. June was moving pretty rapidly and now it slows it down. The problem that happens for most of us, all of us, is when we're super busy and moving at a really rapid pace, when everything slows down and there's a lot of dead space, there's a lot of silence in the air, self-doubt starts to creep in. So this month, there's a high possibility of self-doubt. Everybody needs to have a partner. Everyone needs to have somebody to whom they can turn when they're feeling like, oh man, I don't know if I did the right thing. I don't care if it's someone as benign as the lady you see at the post office. You need to have somebody that you can just say hi to and reconnect with, get replugged, because moving quickly, you disassociate sometimes as you're flying. The next thing is for the month of sheep. It's really about tapping back in, not only for support, but it's about mending fences and it's
Oh,
about strengthening relationships. So I don't expect anyone ever to mend a fence by saying, I'm sorry, or I don't know what went wrong with us. I apologize. Let's make amends. That's not what this is about. It's about simply, even if energetically in a prayer or a meditation, you say, I no longer want to be upset with Carol. I'm sending
yeah.
her love and energy. I say a prayer for her family. You mend that fence so that energetically you don't have that barbed wire fence coming off of you. It's
Yeah.
about
Interesting.
strengthening relationships that matter and mending fences.
And
Um,
many, and that's, it's really that kind of letting go situation.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and the
Sorry.
direction flies, and the energy flies in different directions. And I will tell you, this month in the Southwest, it's really important to have a light on at all times. If it's an area where you're sleeping, then obviously you're not going to have lights on while you're sleeping. But when you awaken, if there's windows, then let the natural light in as much as possible. If there are no windows in the Southwest area, get a night light. You can get them at hardware stores. Keep it on 24/7. Just keep that light on. If you can, leave 24/7. If not, when you're not sleeping. But it's really about activating energetically the area of the Southwest, which is really a maternal energy this month. It's also the direction of the sheep, and it's pulling in a cocoon of nurturing and love. And the light acts as a fire, so it's really heating up maternal love.
Is a candle okay?
A candle's okay, but not 24/7.
Wow.
Said
No.
Fireman Dan. But we do, but that's why I say those little hardware lights are. But you can light a candle as long as here's our PSA, you blow it out.
Those fake candles.
A fake candle,
The
yeah,
little thing.
yeah, with the little flicker.
I'm just trying to figure out how to, because I forgot anyway. Okay. I forgot to do myself. Whoops. Uh-oh. Okay. Anyway, well, that's good. I knew that you would help us move into this month more smoothly. It's very hot in the world right now. I
Yeah,
don't
it
know if
is.
it's hot in California, but it is
It is.
hot as heck here in Idaho. And quite a surprise. But anyway, it was so nice to be back here talking to everybody. Thank you so much for listening to Out Comes the Sun. As you know, we try to support the Mariel Hemingway Foundation, which is a resource navigator. And we will soon have the Good Shepard Foundation on there for people that want a therapy dog. Yeah, so just so you know that this our foundation is simply a place to direct you if you're having a mental health issue, and that's what we want to turn it into. So thank you all so much for listening to Out Comes the Sun podcast. My host, Melissa Yamaguchi, thank you so much, and I'm Mariel Hemingway, and we'll see you next time.